artists, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Margot and I'm a professional artist. And in today's video, I thought it would be fun to talk about some essential art supplies that are a little bit more unexpected, but ones that I cannot live without. So this list won't include the obvious ones like paint, paintbrushes, and paper, because I have other videos dedicated to that already, which I'll link below. So today will be all about art supplies that are less glamorous and less talked about, but that are as essential to my day-to-day process and practice as my prized paints. So if you want to know my top 8 unexpected art supplies, keep watching. All right, so let's jump right in. And the first thing on my list is my kneaded eraser. This little thing is the best thing ever. And I switched to kneaded erasers about 10 years ago and honestly just never looked back since. Not only is it great at regular erasing, it's also the best tool that I know of that can lift off excess lead and muddiness from a drawing while keeping your paper clean and smudge-free. Also, a big bonus is that unlike traditional erasers, a kneaded eraser doesn't leave behind a trail of crumbs as you erase. Anyway, it's my eraser of choice when it comes to general purpose erasing. Second item is my bone folder. For most of my watercolor work, I like to paint on watercolor blocks. And with blocks, you have to be pretty careful with how you take the sheets off when you're done with them, or you'll tear the edges. So my favorite tool to do this cleanly and stress-free is with my trusty bone folder. I've had this one since art school, and it's also the perfect tool, as its name suggests, for folding pieces of paper and creating very nice clean creases. But generally speaking, what I use it for is effortlessly getting pages out of my watercolor block when I'm done with them. Item number 3 is one of my favorite items to look at on my desk, and that's my watercolor swatch cards. I have an entire video dedicated to how and why I use them, but in a nutshell, I use them all the time as a starting point to build my color stories and palettes before my paintbrush even touches the page. They're a great reference and reminder of everything that I have and help me make quick and efficient decisions when I'm picking out my colors. Art supply number 4 is actually an item that I get asked a lot about on here, as well as on Instagram, and it's what I use to create the most gorgeous gilded metallic gold accents on my paintings. So this is my Schminke Aqua Bronze gold powder. And let me tell you that this thing goes a long way. I bought it many years ago and my bottle is still nearly full. So that gives you an idea of how far this stuff actually goes. So what you do is you mix it with equal parts water, and it creates a texture quite similar to gouache that has the most incredible shimmery finish. And the best part about it is how easy it is to work with. You don't need any other binders or anything like that, and you can dilute it down if you want just a light dusting or a gold shine. So it comes in different metallic colors, but the one that I have is the pale gold, and I just love this stuff. Next up is a bit more in the tech department, but arguably one of the most important tools and assets, what with doing illustration and art for commercial purposes, and that is my Epson scanner. I don't know what I would do without this thing, since it's what I use to convert nearly all of my artwork into digital files that I can then manipulate on Photoshop and other image editing software that I use to create products, animations, and just about everything and anything you see online and on social media when it comes to my brand Pointbrush. So I have the Epson V600, which I upgraded to recently, and I previously had an all-in-one printer and scanner that got the job done. I know it's a bit shocking that I got everything done on that one old machine, but I really felt like it was time to take it up a notch and upgrade and ensure that all of my details and colors came in as crisp and true to the original as possible. And so far, there's been no looking back. I mean, the quality is amazing. I'm loving it, and I definitely recommend it. Okay, now we're down to item number 6, and this is going to be such a boring one, but let me tell you, this little thing is essential to me, and that is my roll of artist's tape. I use this thing for everything from affixing tracing paper to my sketchbook, to using it for tracing and transferring artwork from sketch to my watercolor block. It's really gentle on paper and ensures that it won't rip or scuff up your work as you peel the tape off. And if you haven't seen my amazing hack for transferring any picture or sketch to watercolor paper, you'll want to see this because it'll save you a lot of time. I'll link it right here in the card above as well as the description below. Anyway, long story short, my roll of artist tape is like my Swiss Army knife, and I can use it for more things than I can count. We're nearing the end of the list with item number 7, which is tracing paper. I get mine from Strathmore, and it's an essential tool that I use when I'm trying to figure out composition or working on refinements for client projects. So usually I present a pencil sketch to a client and they ask for some revisions to it. And so what I'll do is I won't ever erase or tweak my original drawing. Instead, I'll make a replica of it using tracing paper with all the tweaks that were requested. And that way I'm keeping all of my versions intact. And it also helps me to rework one area of a drawing if I want to see several options before picking, a final direction that I like. So tracing paper is a really effective and helpful tool to have around. So if you haven't used it in your process yet, I highly recommend it. Okay, moving on to the 8th art supply and the last one on my list. And this item is going to be totally different from the rest and has a profound sentimental value to me. And that is my Mont Blanc Meisterstuck fountain pen. And this fountain pen was my dad's. And when he passed away, my mother gave it to me. And going to a French lycée, which is a French school as a kid, I actually learned to write in cursive with a fountain pen. So this one brings me back to my childhood, but more importantly, it reminds me of my dad and what a huge inspiration and support he was to me and to my entire art career. He was an artist too and really fostered my love for the arts and supported my decision to pursue becoming an artist and a designer. So this pen is both a magnificent writing instrument. I mean, you can't speak highly enough of the Mont Blanc craftsmanship, but more importantly, it's a little reminder of my dad. And in a way, it's like a piece of him is still with me every day, watching over my work table when I'm creating my art. So I hope this video encouraged you to check out some of these essential but less glamorous art supplies. And let me know in the comments below what are some things that are on your desk that are things that you use every day but are maybe less celebrated than, the more flashy art supplies that we know of, like paints and paintbrushes and that kind of thing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next week for another art video.